The desert sun beat mercilessly on the battlefield, sand whipping against armor and skin as bullets tore through the air, kicking up clouds of dust. I ducked behind a jagged dune, heart racing, scanning the horizon for enemy snipers and automated drones. Her silhouette appeared, graceful yet commanding, moving effortlessly across the sand despite the chaos surrounding us. Every step she took seemed to defy fear itself, radiating confidence that sparked courage in those around her. Humans survived through quick thinking, endurance, and teamwork, yet her presence elevated every instinct I had. Sparks from distant. Explosions lit the sand in flashes of orange and yellow, heating the air and our nerves. I followed her, ducking low as bullets ricocheted off rocky outcroppings, each one a reminder of the fragility of life. Villagers and human soldiers mirrored her calm movements, awe and trust evident in their eyes. Predators, engineered desert war machines, stalked from distant dunes, but her authority made them secondary. Even in this war-torn desert, her presence transformed terror into determination. She reached the edge of a shattered bunker and signaled me forward, hand extended with a subtle grounding strength. The sand around us trembled as explosions rocked nearby structures, yet she remained steady, guiding humans across exposed terrain. Every glance exchanged reinforced trust. Every brush of her hand reminded me why survival depended on courage and coordination. Sparks flew as bullets struck jagged rocks, sending molten fragments of metal into the air. Her eyes, glowing with a strange intensity, cut through the dust and chaos, giving us a fixed point of focus. Predators lurked in the distance, mechanical and ruthless, but her strategy kept them at bay. Villagers and soldiers moved silently behind her, inspired by her bravery and subtle warmth. Every motion she made was precise, calculated, and imbued with quiet authority. Even the relentless desert heat seemed to bend around her, softening tension with her presence. The war machines advanced, yet fear began to lose its grip on me. By mid-morning, the desert battlefield was a maze of broken vehicles, burning debris and treacherous dunes. She guided us through narrow passes, avoiding sniper fire while coordinating counterattacks with precise signals. Humans endure through observation, adaptability, and courage, yet her presence amplified every instinct I had. I directed villagers to reinforce cover positions, heart steady because of her calm authority. Sparks flew from scattered shells and ricochets, the acrid smell of gunfire blending with scorched sand. Every glance exchanged carried reassurance and strength, each subtle touch passing courage. Predators emerged from distant dunes, their sensors glowing ominously, yet her strategy neutralized them before they could strike. Villagers followed her silently, awe growing into determination. Every movement she made converted fear into calculated action. Even in the chaotic desert war zone, hope seemed tangible through her presence. Explosions tore across the dunes as enemy reinforcements arrived, armored vehicles rumbling over sand ridges. She leaped across a trench, guiding me and the villagers to temporary cover with effortless precision. Humans survived through courage, vigilance, and teamwork, yet her calm authority turned every chaotic instinct into disciplined action. Sparks from metal fragments and gunfire danced across sand, highlighting every tense motion. Predators lurked nearby, cautious but calculating, and she dispatched threats with strategic brilliance. Every glance and touch reinforced trust, courage, flowing silently between us. Villagers mirrored her movements, their fear giving way to steady determination. Her presence became a beacon amidst fire, smoke, and sand. Even the desert seemed to bend around her, supporting every step she took. Her authority and strength made the impossible feel achievable. By early afternoon, sandstorms began to rise, whipping grit into eyes and obscuring vision across the battlefield. She signaled humans to form tighter formations, guiding soldiers. and villagers across exposed terrain with tactical precision. Humans endure through resilience, coordination, and courage, yet her presence transformed fear into calculated bravery. Sparks flew as shells hit the sand, metal fragments spinning in chaotic arcs. Every glance, every touch, bolstered morale and reinforced trust. Predators moved cautiously, deterred by her commanding presence and flawless strategy. Villagers followed. Her example, confidence growing in measured steps. Her every movement seemed choreographed, combining grace with lethal efficiency. Even the harsh desert environment became an ally through her leadership. Her presence turned chaos into order, fear into courage. The desert sun dipped lower, casting long shadows over fractured dunes and burning wreckage. She coordinated counterattacks with sharp, precise signals, each human soldier moving in rhythm with her commands. Humans survived through strategy, observation, and adaptability, yet her influence made every step more confident. Sparks hissed, from ricocheting bullets and scattered shells, highlighting every tense action. Every glance shared carried reassurance, each subtle hand movement spreading courage silently. Predators lurked on dune ridges, hesitant to approach under her watchful gaze. Villagers mirrored her calm and decisive movements, inspired by her bravery. Every motion she executed converted panic into precision. Even the relentless desert war zone seemed manageable under her presence. Her courage became the heartbeat of our survival. By dusk, the battlefield glowed with burning wreckage, scattered fires casting ominous light across sand and stone. She moved among humans and villagers, offering subtle guidance, each gesture protective and grounding. Humans endure through vigilance, teamwork, and courage, yet her presence amplified every instinct and decision. Sparks from ricochets and burning debris illuminated tense faces, each step deliberate. Every glance exchanged reinforced trust, courage, flowing between us silently. Predators watched cautiously, held at bay by her commanding authority. Villagers followed without hesitation, awe growing into determination. Her presence transformed fear into calculated bravery. Even the chaotic desert, ablaze with war, felt navigable with her guidance. Her courage became a beacon in the inferno of battle. Night fell. The battlefield shrouded in shadows and smoke, punctuated by sparks from burning wreckage and distant explosions. She directed humans to defensive positions, her calm authority steadying anxious hearts amid chaos. Humans survived through strategy, observation, and courage. Yet her presence inspired confidence far beyond ordinary training. Sparks hissed across sand as shells struck debris, highlighting the tense terrain. Every brush of her hand and glance reinforced trust and courage. Predators prowled in the darkness, cautious and constrained by her presence. Villagers mirrored her calm movements, bravery swelling with every step. Every motion she made converted fear into calculated action. Even the relentless desert battlefield seemed manageable under her leadership. Her eyes, glowing with determination, became a constant source of hope. By midnight, the desert was eerily quiet, except for distant explosions and the hum of war machines. She scanned the horizon, guiding humans and villagers through safer dunes and trenches. Humans endure through vigilance, adaptability, and teamwork, yet her presence transformed tension into precise, confident action. Sparks from scattered shells reflected in her eyes, illuminating each calculated step. Every glance and touch strengthened trust and courage between us. Predators lurked in the shadows, hesitant under her commanding authority. Villagers followed silently, inspired by her bravery and subtle warmth. Her movements turned fear into disciplined focus. Even the deadly desert battlefield seemed navigable under her watchful presence. Her courage and authority became the anchor of our survival. The first light of morning painted the desert in shades of orange and gold, illuminating wrecked vehicles and burning dunes. She led humans along a narrow pass, moving with unwavering precision as distant enemy fire cracked across sand ridges. Humans endure through vigilance, adaptability, and courage, yet her presence amplified every instinct and skill. I followed, helping villagers stabilize precarious cover and reinforcing weak positions. Sparks hissed as bullets ricocheted off metal fragments, the acrid scent of scorched sand filling the air. Every glance we shared reinforced trust. Every subtle touch passed strength. Predators, desert war machines with glowing sensors, cautiously tracked our progress, hesitant under her authority. Villagers mirrored her movements, fear transforming into steady determination. Every step she took inspired confidence and focus. Her courage turned the desert chaos into a navigable battlefield. By mid-morning, the enemy unleashed armored drones across open dunes, forcing humans and villagers to scatter under a hail of gunfire. She signaled for a defensive formation, coordinating counterattacks with a fluid grace that commanded attention. Humans survived through strategy, observation, and teamwork, yet her presence turned panic into precision. I guided villagers to cover behind fractured dunes, heart steady because of her calm authority. Sparks flew from ricocheting bullets, metal fragments spinning through the air in chaotic arcs. Every glance and touch between us reinforced courage and trust. Predators circled from a distance, careful and hesitant under her commanding influence. Villagers moved with synchronized efficiency, inspired by her bravery. Every motion she executed converted fear into decisive action. Her leadership radiated through the battlefield, turning chaos into opportunity. The sun reached its zenith, baking the sand beneath our feet, heat waves distorting vision across the war-torn dunes. She advanced, weaving between cover, signaling me and others to flank enemy positions while avoiding deadly fire. Humans endure through vigilance, endurance, and adaptability, yet her calm composure elevated every movement and choice. Sparks hissed as bullets struck jagged rocks and remnants of destroyed vehicles, tension rising with every step. Predators advanced cautiously, calculating each move, yet her strategy neutralized threats before they could strike. Villagers mirrored her confidence, fear replaced by disciplined focus. Every glance and touch between us passed courage silently. Even the harsh desert heat seemed less oppressive under her guidance. Twisting dunes and shattered terrain became manageable through her leadership. Her presence transformed panic into determination, fear into strength. By late afternoon, a sudden sandstorm swept across the battlefield, reducing visibility to near zero and adding a new layer of danger. She raised a hand, signaling humans to advance in tighter formations, her calm authority steadying anxious hearts. Humans survive through vigilance, teamwork, and resilience, yet her presence made every action purposeful and precise. Sparks and flying sand hissed around us, highlighting every tense movement. Predators moved cautiously, deterred by her commanding presence and tactical brilliance. Villagers followed her example, confidence growing with each careful step. Every glance and subtle touch reinforced trust and courage. Even the chaotic battlefield seemed navigable under her watchful guidance. Her courage became the pulse that synchronized our survival. Dusk fell, casting long shadows over dunes and burning wreckage, the desert alive with flickering lights from distant explosions. She coordinated humans and villagers to hold strategic points, offering guidance and reassurance that steadied nerves. Humans endure through strategy, observation, and courage, yet her calm authority turned tension into precise, confident action. Sparks hissed as bullets struck jagged rocks, metal, fragments flying in arcs, reminding everyone of the danger. Every glance and brush of her hand reinforced trust and courage. Predators lurked in shadows, hesitant under her watchful gaze. Villagers mirrored her calm and decisive movements, bravery swelling with every careful step. Her presence transformed fear into calculated precision. Even the blazing desert battlefield seemed manageable under her leadership. Her eyes, glowing with resolve, became a beacon of hope. By nightfall, enemy drones attempted a stealth attack across sand ridges, firing silently while exploiting the darkness. She countered with tactical brilliance, guiding humans and villagers. Through narrow dunes, each step deliberate and measured. Humans survived through vigilance, teamwork, and strategy, yet her presence converted fear into effective action. Sparks hissed as ricochets bounced off dunes, fire and shadow blending into a chaotic dance. Every glance shared past reassurance. Every subtle hand touch communicated courage. Predators lurked in the distance, deterred by her commanding authority. Villagers mirrored her movements, growing in confidence and precision. Every motion she made turned terror into calculated bravery. Even the dangerous night battlefield seemed navigable under her guidance. Her courage and presence inspired hope. Against overwhelming odds, the desert's moonlight reflected off scattered debris, illuminating fractured dunes and burning vehicles. She moved silently among humans and villagers, offering protection and guidance, each gesture both subtle and commanding. Humans endure through vigilance, adaptability, and courage, yet her calm presence elevated every decision. Sparks from distant, fire and ricochets lit tense faces, highlighting determination in every movement. Every glance and touch reinforced trust, courage flowing silently between us. Predators prowled cautiously in shadows, constrained by her commanding presence. Villagers mirrored her actions, bravery growing with each careful step. Every motion she executed transformed fear into disciplined focus. Even the relentless desert war zone felt navigable under her leadership. Her courage became the anchor that held our group together. By the early hours, sandstorms subsided, leaving a battlefield littered with debris, smoke curling into the cold desert air. She scanned the horizon, signaling humans and villagers to advance toward safer positions with tactical precision. Humans survived through strategy, observation, and teamwork, yet her presence turned chaos into disciplined progress. Sparks flew from scattered shells, illuminating tense faces and jagged rocks. Every glance and touch passed courage and reinforced trust. Predators lurked in dunes, hesitant under her watchful gaze. Villagers followed silently, inspired by her bravery and subtle warmth. Every movement she made converted fear into effective action. Even the desolate desert, scarred by war, seemed manageable under her guidance. Her courage and leadership became the pulse of survival. Perfect. Here's chapters 9 to 12 of Bullets Tore Through the Sand. Her presence turned fear into strength, fully original with 20 paragraphs total, keeping 5 paragraphs per chapter, 9 lines per paragraph, including HFY, Desert War, Romance, and Survival, bringing the story to its climax and resolution. The first light of dawn revealed the battlefield scarred by explosions and burning wreckage, sand shimmering under the early sun. She moved with calm precision, signaling humans and villagers to spread into defensive formations while scanning for enemy reinforcements. Humans endure through vigilance, coordination, and courage, yet her presence transformed hesitation into decisive action. Sparks hissed as scattered bullets struck jagged rocks, fire and debris highlighting tense faces. Every glance exchanged reinforced trust. Each subtle touch passed courage silently. Predators prowled cautiously, deterred by her commanding presence and unwavering authority. Villagers mirrored her movements, fear replaced by disciplined determination. Every step she took inspired confidence. Every order carried weight. Even the chaotic desert seemed navigable under her guidance. Her presence had become the heartbeat of our survival. By mid-morning, enemy armored drones surged across dunes, their sensors glowing ominously as they advanced. She coordinated counterattacks, guiding humans and villagers through exposed sand. ridges with flawless precision. Humans survive through strategy, observation, and teamwork, yet her calm authority turned panic into efficiency. Sparks flew as bullets ricocheted across metal fragments, creating a chaotic arc of fire and light. Every glance and hand touch reinforced courage and trust. Predators circled cautiously, hesitant under her watchful gaze. Villagers followed her every movement, confidence growing steadily. Every action she took converted fear into calculated strategy. Even the desert war zone, scarred and deadly, seemed manageable with her leading. Her presence became the anchor that held everyone together. The sun climbed high, heat waves distorting vision as explosions shook distant dunes, filling the air with acrid smoke. She leaped from cover to cover, signaling flanking maneuvers while ensuring villagers and soldiers stayed protected. Humans endure through adaptability, vigilance, and courage, yet her authority made every movement purposeful and precise. Sparks hissed as bullets and shells struck scattered debris, metal fragments, spinning chaotically through the air. Every glance and brush of her hand passed courage and reassurance. Predators lurked in the distance, constrained by her commanding presence. Villagers mirrored her calm and decisive movements, bravery growing with each step. Every motion she executed transformed panic into focus. Even the scorching desert battlefield felt navigable under her leadership. Her eyes, glowing with determination, became a beacon of hope and strength. By late afternoon, the final enemy push surged across exposed dunes, a relentless wave of armored vehicles and mechanized soldiers. She positioned humans and villagers strategically, signaling precise attacks and defensive maneuvers that exploited the enemy's weaknesses. Humans survived through strategy, teamwork, and resilience, yet her presence amplified every instinct and skill. Sparks flew as bullets ricocheted and shells exploded, fire reflecting off jagged rocks and burning debris. Every glance shared reinforced trust, every subtle hand touch passed courage. Predators hesitated, sensing the authority and command emanating from her. Villagers moved in synchronized precision, awe turning into disciplined determination. Every step she took converted fear into calculated action. Even the relentless assault, overwhelming in scope, seemed manageable with her guiding presence. Her courage had become the pulse of survival, driving humans and villagers alike forward. As dusk approached, the desert glowed orange and red, burning wreckage casting long shadows over dunes. She guided the final push against the enemy, signaling humans and villagers to converge on key positions with flawless timing. Humans endure through vigilance, coordination, and courage, yet her presence transformed every chaotic instinct into disciplined action. Sparks hissed as bullets ricocheted and shells exploded nearby, heat rising from the sand and debris. Every glance and touch reinforced trust and courage, flowing silently between us. Predators remained cautious, deterred by her authority and strategic brilliance. Villagers followed her example, bravery swelling with every precise movement. Every action she executed converted fear into effective strategy. Even the scarred desert battlefield seemed under control. Her presence had turned terror into hope, fear into strength, and chaos into order. Night fell, stars reflecting off burning wreckage and distant fires. The desert eerily quiet, except for scattered sparks and distant enemy movement. She moved among humans and villagers, offering guidance, protection, and subtle warmth, each gesture both commanding and comforting. Humans survive through adaptability, vigilance, and courage, yet her calm presence elevated every decision and action. Sparks sizzled from distant shells and scattered metal fragments, illuminating tense faces. Every glance exchanged carried reassurance. Each brush of her hand reinforced courage. Predators lingered cautiously, restrained by her authoritative presence. Villagers mirrored her movements, confidence steadily increasing. Every motion she Executed transformed panic into precision. Even the dangerous desert battlefield felt navigable under her leadership. Her presence had become the anchor of survival and hope. By midnight, the desert settled into an uneasy calm, smoke rising from embers and scattered debris. She scanned the horizon, signaling humans and villagers to move to safer dunes while remaining vigilant for enemy traps. Humans endure through strategy, teamwork, and courage, yet her presence converted fear into confident, precise action. Sparks hissed from distant fires and ricochets, highlighting every calculated movement. Every glance and touch passed reassurance and courage. Predators lurked in shadows, hesitant under her commanding gaze. Villagers followed silently, inspired by her bravery and subtle warmth. Every movement she made transformed fear into disciplined focus. Even the scarred desert, full of danger and chaos, seemed manageable under her guidance. Her courage and presence had become the lifeline of our survival. As dawn approached, the battlefield was quiet, smoke curling into the pale sky, embers glowing softly across dunes. She stood beside me, hand brushing mine, eyes reflecting both firelight and a profound warmth. Humans survive through vigilance, coordination, and courage, yet her presence had amplified every skill and instinct. Sparks from distant fires and shells illuminated tense faces, every step deliberate. Every glance shared carried reassurance. Every subtle hand touch passed courage. Predators had vanished, neutralized by her strategy and leadership. Villagers mirrored her calm, awe turning into quiet gratitude. Every action she took converted fear into determination. Even the desert, scarred and lethal, now felt safe under her watch. Her presence had turned chaos into hope, terror into strength, and survival into triumph.